Welcome back to another episode of Let's Build Twitter. We are in episode 102. And as always, I do want to remind y'all, if you do want access to the private repository, as well as early access to every video as soon as I upload them, be sure to go ahead and hit that membership below. Or also, if you just want to support the channel, that's also appreciated. And if you do want access to the private repository, please make sure to go to the communities tab of my channel. There's a private post there that will say, please enter your GitHub username. Put it there. That way I can go ahead and invite you to the repository. Let's hop into what we actually work on today. And in today's episode, we start to wrap up the main content of the feed post creator component by working on the bottom row of icons in the feed post creator, starting out by modifying the rest of the CSS classes to make the post button look active or inactive depending on the content in the text box, and making elements hide with a special class in CSS. Then we work on the cluster on the bottom right of the feed post creator, creating a component for displaying how many characters you have used up, and an icon for creating threads to a post. As always, I'm Ethan Uncoder, and let's hop straight into the development. So that's good to go. Now we can move on from icons border. So our feed post creator button is going to be slightly different. So instead of background color of this, we're going to do RGBA this time. So we're going to say RGBA, and this is going to be 29, 161, and this one's going to be 0.5. So whenever it's not active, it's going to be slightly different. Whenever it's not active, it's going to be darker. So if we go into footer, you can see it's kind of that. But as you can see, it still hovers, and we don't want that hover effect. So I need to fix that. So I'm going to say dot post dash active post active. This one will have the background color of that blue that we need. And then instead of this being hover, we're going to say post active hover. And save, and now it should only actually do something if it's active. So if we type in here, it didn't quite, it's because we don't have an on change, so we need to add the on change on this, but we can fix that. If we refresh, we still need to make hide and a couple other things, so we'll fix that, but we're getting closer. So we need to make the dot feed dash post dash creator dash location, and this is going to have a display of flex. It's going to have justify content center, align items center, a width of 34 px, and a height of 34 px, and save. And that should fix the last piece. And finally, we need the dot hide. So dot hide display is going to be none. What we're going to go and do is, if we take a look, now we see this is what it looks like. This is still not quite right, so I probably spelled something wrong. Let's see. Yes, I did. Creator.location. There we go. And we're going to fix this up to make this look a little bit better, so don't worry too much about that. We click on this, now it says everyone, and everyone can edit. Technically, I think there can technically be a little bit more margin on the right of this. If we go into our CSS, and wherever the line is here, it's going to be icons border. I'm going to add a little bit of margin, and this is probably going to break everything. Be margin on the right side. And if it breaks everything, I'll take it away. But let's see what happens. Icon border. It didn't do anything. Okay, well, we're just going to keep it as is then. It's fine. So there's that. We need to do a couple other random things, but this is looking a little bit better. It's looking a lot closer to what Twitter's looks like. So now what we need next is, if you click anywhere inside this, it's actually going to go ahead and set focus. So we're going to go ahead and set the focus. So if we come into here, and we're going to go into post creator, and whenever we go ahead and set activate, we're going to get rid of this if statement. We're going to say if our text area ref and our text area ref dot current, then we're going to say text area ref dot current. We're going to say dot focus. And what this will do is that if we click anywhere inside of the post creator box, is going to go ahead and focus on the click. So if we go ahead and we refresh, we click here, it's going to go ahead and say, hey, let's start typing. So again, just a little bit of like the dynamic nature. In Twitter, you can't really unclick anything, which we can't unmake this unactive, I guess, which is kind of silly, but it is what it is. So that is what this is looking like. And we're going to make this look a little bit better in a little bit, because if you actually look at Twitter, it's kind of all bunched up on the left and then some on the right. But don't worry, we're going to fix that. All right, so the next thing that I want to take a focus at or take a look at is whenever you go on Twitter and you start typing like hello, you can see in the bottom right, we have like a icon for how much space we have left or how many words we have left, and like a plus next to the post. So we're going to go ahead and set it up so we can actually create that. And this one's pretty cool. So what we're going to go ahead and do is make a new folder inside of feed. So new folder, I'm going to call this feed post creator progress. And technically this should probably be shared, but it is what it is. Feed post creator progress.tsx. All right, so now this is going to import styled from styled components. Style components, save them again. We're going to have an interface. And this is going to say feed post creator progress props. And this is going to have a %, which is a number. All right, we're going to export const feed post creator progress is equal to a styled .div. And this is going to take in the feed post creator props to our backticks. So our width is going to be 20 px. Our height is going to be 20 px. We're going to have a border radius of 100%. We're going to have a background, and this is where it's going to get a little bit crazy, of $sign props. I might want to do this right. Props. And things are going to get a little bit wacky here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to once again have backticks. We're going to have a radial dash gradient. And this is going to be closest dash side will be white, 80%. Then we're going to have transparent, 80%, 100%. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have a space, and we're going to, whoops, let's actually do it like this, I guess. Then we're going to have conic dash gradient. And this is going to be the 1D A1 F2, our Twitter blue. Then it's going to say $, and it's going to say props dot %. And then we need to put %, comma, and then we're going to say E1, E8, ED. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to make a div that's a circle. It's going to fill the inside middle part of the div with white. It's going to have about 80% around the ring. And then we're going to fill that outer ring with the percentage amount of blue, and then the rest with the light gray. So again, this is a gradient that I generated from a website. I don't remember where I got it from. It was some tutorial website, but it looks pretty good. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to make a new div inside of our feed post creator. And inside of this area where the button is, we're going to make a div. The class name, we're going to be equal to feed dash post dash creator dash submit dash cluster. And inside the submit cluster, we're going to have our feed post creator progress, and the % is going to equal to post content dot length divided by 256, because that's how many total characters. So that'll be a decimal times 100, will actually be the percent. And then we want our button as well. All right. And then we'll need some more stuff later, but apparently I forgot to add that in. So we'll add it in later. So now we have that. And then we also need to add a span for the kind of like the plus size and a divider. So let's go ahead and add the divider. So we're going to go ahead and say span, and this will be class name equal to, and this will be feed dash post dash creator dash submit dash cluster, and this is going to be dash divider, and that'll be your span. There's going to be more stuff to put in here, so we'll have to deal with that in a little bit as well. All right, so now this is what it's looking like. So we go into Twitter, we type, for some reason it's not showing up. Interesting. So let's take a peek. This is definitely different though. So why are we not showing up? We have the feed post creator. It's active. Let me double check the progress. So let's see here. Width, height, border radius, background props, radial gradient, closest side, white 80%, transparent 8100. And this should have a 0 here. I'm not sure if that's going to change anything. Did not change anything. So let's double check one more time. Radial gradient, closest side, comma, white, 80, comma, transparent. Close that. Conic gradient, that much percent, and 0. Okay, we'll do some debugging to figure out why it's not showing up in a little bit. Let's just keep trucking forward and see if we can't figure out what's going on with it first, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and set up the CSS for the dot feed dash post dash creator dash submit dash cluster dash divider. Height will be 100%. The width will be 1px. The background color is going to be AA. Whoops, AA. Be that. And then we need to add one more thing inside there. And again, I'm not sure. The line didn't show up either. Interesting. We're running the app. We are running the app. This is exported. So nothing inside this cluster is really showing up for some reason. Interesting. It's active. Definitely active, but it should be showing up. Let me take a look at the feed post creator just to make sure I put it in the right spot. Yes, it should be inside of this one, which it is. Okay. Feed post submit cluster, feed post progress, percent equals that, or button. So I guess we're just going to keep, maybe it's overflowing or something. So I'm just going to keep going here and we'll figure it out, I guess. Finally, we'll have a div with a class name equal to, and this is going to be feed dash post dash creator dash submit dash cluster dash add. This is just kind of a plus in it. So let's go ahead and do the CSS for this and then see if we can get this working. And if it's not working, then we're going to have to do a little bit more to it. So now if we go back into the CSS, so we have the divider. I'm not sure why I did the divider first, but we're going to say dot feed dash post dash creator dash So the bottom icons left, we need to change a little bit. So where is our bottom icons left? We didn't create it. So we need to add a bottom icons left. So I messed something up here. So we're going to wrap. Let's take a look at this again. So we're going to wrap this whole block right here in a new div. Okay, that's not what I really want to do. I'm going to wrap this whole block right here into a new div with the class name equal to feed dash post dash creator dash icons dash left. And then we grab all of these icons. All right, so we're gonna grab all these icons, and what we're gonna go and do is this is also why we have space between on these, and the thing is still not showing up pluses, so we're gonna have to figure out what the heck's going on with that. But we got our feed post creator icons left. Let's go ahead and do the CSS for it, and we might have to do some more work on this as well. So now we have, let's take this, copy, go into our CSS. So I'm gonna put it here, I guess. So this is gonna have a display of flex and a width of 60%. So let's see. There we go. That looks better. Looks about like it's supposed to. And then we also need to set up the submit cluster. So dot feed dash post dash creator. Doesn't really matter where you create this. Dash submit dash cluster. And this is going to have a width of 40%. A display of flex. It's going to have a justify content, space evenly, and then align items center. So now this should change this. So now that's side by side. And again, our ad is not showing, well, ad showing up, but our divider is not showing up, as well as the other thing's not showing up for some reason. So we're going to have to do some work on that. So now we need to do our ad. Let's go ahead and say the bottom here. So we have the divider is definitely there. So now we need the dot feed dash post dash creator dash submit dash cluster dash add. And this is going to have a height 24px, a width of 24px. It's going to have a border radius of 100%. It's going to have a border 1px solid. Let's fix this. 1px solid, and it's going to be this E1D8. And then we're going to have a display of flex because we're going to center it. We're going to have a justify content, center, and align items, center. We're going to have a color equal to RGBA. It's going to be this 29, 161, 142. And this is slightly off, or 242. It's going to be 0.8. Cool. We're going to have padding of 0. For some reason, this doesn't center perfectly, so we have to do a little bit of wonky stuff. 22 px size. Going to have a font weight of 400. And we're going to have a padding on the bottom of 4px. Again, I don't know why it's wonky. We'll do a feed dash post dash creator. And this is going to be dash submit. Submit. If I could type, that'd be cool. Dash cluster dash add hover. And this is going to be a background color of that RGBA of this, but it's going to be 0.1, and then cursor pointer. And now there's going to be a little bit of debugging to do because for whatever reason, so this looks good, but we're missing like half of what's supposed to be in there. So why are we missing half of what's supposed to be in there? So let's go ahead and try to dissect this. So if we go back into here, whoops, we go back into here, go into feed post creator TSX, we have a submit cluster. In this part, this feed post creator is not showing up for whatever reason. Let's, I guess, take a look at this, inspect our elements. So it's got the cluster. So something is broken with the radial background. I'm going to copy paste. I know that that's not great, but I'm going to copy paste, and this guy is just not showing up for some reason. Oh, this one doesn't have a style on it because I probably spelled divider wrong. Okay, so that one's an easy fix. Our progress, let me try to copy paste the background again. Maybe I typoed something. So this one, and Do this, paste. Did I typo something? I must have typoed something, but there we go. And then the divider, I typoed as well. So if we come back in here and go to post creator, this should have a D here and save that. And there we go. So now, although it's not quite working, so I still have something. Oh, the on change. Forgot to add the on change onto this one. So, and I don't think I even made the function for this. So what we need to do is inside the auto grow. This is our on change anyway. We're gonna go and set post content to e.target.value. Except we need to add the e in there. So e::react.change event, and this is going to be an HTML text area element. Now we can say e.target.value like that, and the on change should already be set on there. So now if we type, you can see it is going up. Yada yada yada. Going down. So cool, looks good. And maybe Twitter isn't 256, maybe it's still 128, but I swear it's 256. Now something that I didn't take into account, and if we refresh this, it doesn't actually pop up when you click on it. It only pops up when there's content. So that should be something that's somewhat easy to fix. So we go back into feed post creator. This is kind of off the fly here. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this this into this, and I'm going to say, and I might need to wrap this into a div. We'll see what happens here. Do this, 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 and we might need to make a new class really quick on the fly. But basically what I'm going to say is post content not equal to nothing, question mark. So if that's the case, it'll be this. Otherwise, it'll be nothing. So let's see if this breaks everything. So whenever there's no content, and I knew that was going to happen. So what we'll have to do is the span. Interesting. So I guess what we'll have to do is have a class name equal to, we'll call this feed-post-creator-submit-cluster and we'll call this, or what we could do actually, I mean, it's still going to have to be here though, cluster dash, what do I want to call this? It's not the button. I'm just going to call it left. Let's copy this. And all we really need to do is say in here, and where's the regular cluster? Let's find the cluster. So more or less, all we have to do is add this here and display, flex it, and justify content even and center probably, and maybe that'll do it. Except why is our divider gone again? Let's see. So icons left, submit cluster left. Our span divider's there. It's got everything on it. Maybe the height needs to be 100% of the parent. Okay, and it didn't really space very well because it needs a percentage. That's a problem because I don't really know what to put the percent of the space. So let's just say, I'm going to say width 50 and see what this looks like. Again, I'm just trialing something here. Let's say it takes up 50% of the space. Okay, I think I can live with that. There we go. Cool. So now this acts almost just like Twitter. Obviously, we need the drop down. We need this. But I'm going to take a break from working on the front end for a little bit, and we're going to start working on the back end here in the next episode. This is basically everything I wanted to get through here in this recording session. In the next few sessions, or the next few live streams, I should say, I'm going to work on the back end and get all of those working. That way, we can start actually putting posts into the database, and then we'll figure out all these other stuff. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.